For your chance at winning one of my finished models, head over to my Patreon page. I have a link in the description, and enter the monthly giveaway. So with all the modifications to the body done, it all prepped and primed, it's now ready to be sanded with some 2000 grit sanding sponges from Tamiya to get it all nice and smooth, get all of the small dust particles or uneven areas out, and leave it in one smooth area for a nice base coat to lay down. After I had sanded it all down, I just removed all the dust with a paper towel and a brush in between all the panel lines, and then moved on to priming. Now before primer, I just went over it again with the airbrush, just blowing over it again with some air, just to remove any of that loose or remaining dust. Then I took out some silver paint, mixed it up, poured it in the airbrush, and started on those hard to reach, easy to forget spots, and then moving on to the rest of the body as usual. The first coat has now been applied, so I set it aside for about 5 minutes, topped off the airbrush once more, and then after 5 minutes of dry time I moved on to doing the second coat. Now since it's not really visible what I'm actually doing here, I'm just going to speed it up a bit, as you know the basic procedure by now, and it pretty much all looks the same as the first coat. With the second coat now applied, the body has been fully covered and it's a nice even finish all over. I set it aside for about 60 minutes in room temperature, about 20 degrees Celsius, and then started masking it off. Now mostly I'm just using some Kip tape, KIP, otherwise you can also use some Tamiya. It has the same quality. It applies really nicely and doesn't really stick super well, so it doesn't really pull any paint off anyway. So that's what I'm using. Moving on to the rest of the body, just masking off that line around the interior tub and also doing the window frame on the front so that can be painted black. All of the fine edges were done with the masking tape and cut out with a knife, and all of the bigger areas are just done with some masking paper and some tape on the edge. You can get these at most of the paint stores. All of the areas that need to stay silver are now masked off, so I can just move on to painting the rest black. I'm just using some jet black from Zero Paints, nothing fancy here. Just get it black and it will later be covered with some clear to make it super nice and glossy. It's all nicely covered, everything is super nice and black and also really nice and clean. No dust particles in it whatsoever and a smooth surface overall. So I just let that cure for a bit and then started carefully removing all of the masking tape.